Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. It's October 12th. My name is Mackenzie Lamore with this Franciscan Beat News Brief. Starting off with breaking news from Steubenville, the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Steubenville has proposed a merger with the Diocese of Columbus, citing the declining population, low mass attendance, and economic struggles in the Ohio Valley as the reason. The Diocese of Steubenville was established by Pope Pius XII in 1944 when Steubenville had a population of around 37,000 people today. United States Census estimates have it just under 18,000. The new diocese included 13 counties along the Ohio River that formerly belonged to the Diocese of Columbus. The process is underway but must go through several steps before it is finalized. Munforton says he has been talking with the bishops of Ohio and a vote was taken on how to proceed. From there, the bishop will conduct a survey among the members of his diocese. That information will be sent to the United States Conference of Bishops in Baltimore. Munforton says a merger will not affect local parishes and schools, and there are no plans at this time for any church closures. We'll be sure to keep you updated as this process continues to unfold. Former Hawaii Congresswoman and 2020 presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard announced Tuesday that she is leaving the Democratic Party, citing a long list of reasons, including its hostility to people of faith. In a recent 30-minute YouTube video explaining her decision, Gabbard stated, "Any political party that is trying to erase the presence of God from every facet of public life and is hostile towards those who choose to worship God cannot be trusted to protect our inalienable God-given rights entrusted in the Constitution, and therefore should not be in power." Gabbard did not indicate whether she would be joining the Republican Party, but she unleashed a litany of condemnations against President Biden and Democrats, focusing largely on the party's infringement on the freedom of speech and freedom of religion. Gabbard also called attention to the Department of Justice's recent arrests and indictments of pro-life activists such as Catholic Father of Seven Mark Houck, saying security agencies have been weaponized against Americans. And now news from NASA. A spacecraft that plowed into a small, harmless asteroid millions of miles away succeeded in shifting its orbit, NASA said Tuesday, in announcing the results of its Save the World test. The space agency attempted the test 2 weeks ago to see if in the future a killer rock could be nudged out of Earth's way. The DART spacecraft carved a crater into the asteroid, hurling debris out into space and creating a comet-like trail of dust and rubble, stretching several thousand miles. It took consecutive nights of telescope observations from Chile and South Africa to determine how much the impact altered the path of the 525-foot asteroid around its companion, a much bigger space rock. Team scientists caution more work is needed to not only identify more of the countless space rocks out there, but to ascertain their makeup. Some are solid while others are rubble piles. Scouting missions might be needed, for instance, before launching impactors to deflect the orbits. A United States district judge could decide today whether to temporarily block Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program from taking effect. 6 Republican-led states filed a lawsuit last month challenging the legality of the policy and are asking the court to grant a preliminary injunction, which could put student loan cancellation on hold until the judge issues a final ruling on the case. The Department of Education is expected to open an application for the student loan forgiveness program this month. The Biden administration, which released a preview of the application Tuesday, aims to deliver debt relief worth up to $20,000 to millions of borrowers before federal student loan payments resume in January, after a nearly 3-year pandemic-related pause. The motion for a preliminary injunction is being heard by District Judge Henry Edward Autry, who was appointed by former President George W. Bush to win a preliminary injunction. The states are required to demonstrate that the student loan forgiveness policy will cause them irreparable harm if the injunction is not implemented. The losing party could immediately appeal the judge's ruling today on the injunction, sending the case to the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, where it is likely to face a panel of conservative judges. The Biden administration is also facing several other lawsuits over the student loan forgiveness policy. 2 of the lawsuits have already been dismissed. One ongoing lawsuit was filed by Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich, and another was filed this week by a conservative group, the Job Creators Network Foundation, on behalf of 2 student loan borrowers in Texas who do not qualify for the full $20,000 in debt relief under Biden's program. Big news in the pop culture world. After more than a decade on The Voice, Blake Shelton is preparing to say goodbye to his role as a judge. NBC has announced that the next season of the singing competition will be Shelton's last. Shelton has served as a coach on The Voice for all of its 22 seasons. Season 22 is currently airing on NBC, and Season 23, which airs in the spring of 2023, will be his last season. Season 23 will introduce new coaches Niall Horan and Chance the Rapper. Fan favorite coach Kelly Clarkson will make her return in Season 23 following a hiatus. A suburban Chicago toddler with a rare genetic condition returned home with his family for the first time on Tuesday after spending his entire life in the hospital. Francisco Bruno, who is 2 years and 10 months old, has skeletal dysplasia, which prevents his ribcage from growing properly and affects his lungs. After undergoing several surgeries to expand his ribcage and intense rehab and therapy, Francisco was finally pushed out of La Rabida Hospital by his mother and father. Francisco returned to the family's Oak Park home, where 6 older siblings were waiting to celebrate his arrival. Hospital staff said that while they'll miss Francisco, they are ultimately happy to see him begin a new chapter in life. And now for today's weather. Partly cloudy skies with a high of 70 degrees today in Steubenville. Temperatures will go a little below 60 degrees tonight, and some light rain showers will come around 8 o'clock tonight. That's all for today's Franciscan Beat News Brief. Thank you to our viewers for tuning in, and have a lovely day.